censored smiles, to hide your true emotions by expressing them, free of fear for judgment. By doing so, you are censoring the fear. The world will likely scrutinize you regardless. So instead of blending into their false morals and society, show yourself. The censored mark is truly meant to express the rebellion against people putting you down. People who want to be happy and smile, but can't show it because of the troubles going on. The censored mark is their representation of pain. So it's basically like hiding yourself, but what you're hiding is still you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're the one hiding. Like you are the shell that like is supposed to be there, but really there's no shell there.
Mm-hmm. So are you hiding from the world, or like you're kind of, are you like lying to yourself? A censored smile. How would you describe a censored smile?
A censored smile is your form of smiling.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to smile, but there's things that are going on that are keeping you from smiling.
Mm. So it's like it's so you want to be happy, kind of, but it's like it's suppressed.
Yeah.
By the world and by yourself.
Yeah.
From the world.
So you're keeping yourself almost at a distance, pretty much.
Interesting. What's up, everyone? It's Makai here, aka Awakened Mind. This is my man CxSmilez. How you doing today, sir? What's up, bro? Alright, so, you're an artist, or you claim to be. What's your music like?
I would say more of a rapper, pretty much. But I incorporate, different forms.
What elements specifically?
You got your basic rap that I grew up on, like Eminem, Tupac, people like that. I don't try to compare myself to that type of level or anything, but I'm saying like in terms of style. But I also like, alternative rock, I like hard rock, classic rock, I like drill, Brooklyn, South, I like West Coast shit.
So you like a little bit of everything?
Yeah, even like some R&B shit, I love The Weeknd, all that.
Interesting. So why do you choose to express yourself with music then? Why is music your go-to form of self-expression?
This is what I've always been comfortable with. It's always been music and just wrestling, storytelling, shit like that.
Wrestling like WWE, right?
Yeah, and other promotions like even out the country, Japan, Mexico, all that.
Okay, alright. Interesting. So with that being said, you have a very dark vibe about you, very dark, mysterious aura. So who would you say inspired you?
Gotta go with PP Cocaine on that one, you feel me? PP Cocaine, I feel like she really rocks hard with the aesthetic.
I see, the red hair, I can see where the influence came from,
I mean, shit, bro, when you just gotta, let people know who you are, bro, that's it. That's what it's all about, bro.
I feel you. PP Cocaine.
No, not PP Cocaine. I gotta go with CxSmilez on the first one. He's, the biggest inspiration for me. And then, in terms of music also, since that's what we're going with, I gotta go with, Eminem, maybe, The Weeknd when I wanna, be soft and all that. I really, feel some type of guidance under, CxSmilez, but I don't, like I said, I don't like to, say names, and make it feel like that's what I'm trying to be but, that's what I listen to on a daily, so, that's just how I am with music. That's my interest.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I think that's dope. I actually really like X's music. You know that much about me. Yeah. I really like X's music.
We've been boys for a while.
I think we have been.
Yeah.
All throughout my depression. And all throughout his.
My depression too.
No, but I've known you for a minute.
Mine ain't a big deal.
Yeah. I'm glad you're finally, making your music, because I remember we've talked about this a while. I feel like he was a big inspiration. I don't mean that on that ass kissing, dick sucking type shit, but I mean he was a really dope soul. I think he inspired a lot of people, and despite some of his fan base. I think the way he influenced people was really dope, and I think his change was the dopest thing of them all, despite his past.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, it's very easy to look at someone and say, oh, fuck this person because of what they did, but, you know, it's very easy to hold someone else accountable than to hold yourself accountable, because, you know, you can't just say fuck this person because of what they did. It's not about who they were, it's about who they decide to become, because everyone has their own flaws. That's why I feel like X was. He's a sign of transformation. Like, look at where he came from.
Yeah.
Look at how he became. So I think he's dope. Anyway.
What pisses me off, like, the most about his death is that he was killed, like, when he was, like, really getting towards, like, the height of his change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since you were talking about, like his change as a person.
Yeah, there was a lot. Like,
yeah.
he had a lot more to offer for the world.
Like, he literally died, like a couple days before, like maybe, like, 4 or 5, like, saying that he was gonna start, like, something, like, because he was already doing the charity stuff, but he was gonna work with Lil Tay, and they were gonna do some shit in Florida. And I was like, this is gonna be hilarious.
He worked with Matt Ox. I think that would have been funny to see what he did with Lil Tay.
And then seeing Lil Tay at that time, like, fucking doing charity shit, like, fucking handing out shit.
I think that would have been dope. Yeah, RPX.
All day.
Speaking of, drugs, like narcotics, I know, like, drugs are kind of a part of your image and who you are. Would you consider that statement to be true, or how would you take that?
You could say, like, image, but, like, also it's more just like me. Like this is just like I smoke. Like I said, like weed, for example, I smoke, like, pretty regularly. Yeah.
So is it like a thing? Is it just, like, more casually now, or is it like a way to escape something? Is it medication? How do you use it?
I mean, like, I know, like, some people can look at weed as like it's not like a drug, it's a medication. But, like, me, I don't necessarily look at it as, like, a medication. It's more just like, this is something that I do. You know, like, people smoke cigarettes, you know, people do other things. But people, like, when you see someone smoking a cigarette, it's more like, oh, okay, he's smoking cigarettes. Even though, to me, cigarettes kind of, like, dirty and shit, not disrespect, but it's like, I see someone smoking a boke, I'm just like, damn, I'd rather see you smoking weed. And that's what I'm talking about. So it's just like, I find that, like, funny a little bit, how it's just like, people will, like, mention it in a way where it's like, we gotta separate it from, like, smoking a cigarette. But to me, it's like, cigarette's more harmful.
So would you consider weed to be a drug?
I guess. But you could also consider cigarettes to be a drug. You consider alcohol to be a drug. I personally don't consider alcohol to be a drug, but some people do.
So when does it move from being just a hobby to addiction?
I think when your world revolves around smoking, pretty much.
Because I know that you mentioned in the last, you commented on, I think, the interview to the Classic the Writer, you said that drugs are good if you have balance.
Yeah.
And to some extent, although I personally don't partake in that, I do agree. Because I feel like anything with balance is not a bad thing. You know, because each person has their own way of doing things. However, what does that balance look like?
I would just say, like, don't, like, drain your bank account on, like, buying drugs. Like, then it's just like, alright, if you're constantly, every paycheck you got, or whether you're hustling or, like, doing, like, other schemes or whatever, like, if it's all related to you buying drugs, then it's just like, you might want to, like, take a step back. You feel me?
So when you feel like the whole world revolves around that specific drug?
Yeah, when you're, like, when you as, like, a living, breathing person is just like, you're just here just to go to the plug and buy this, buy that, go to the corner store when you're high to buy food, then it's just like, that's maybe alright if you're, like, in high school, but if you're, like, 25, fucking, or even, like, college or whatever, like, if you're just, in general, maybe, like, just doing that, it's not really right.
Neither is it responsible.
Yeah. In high school, though, do whatever the fuck you want. That shit don't matter, bro. That shit don't matter.
That's true. I mean, high school is definitely the learning years. This is the year.
Depends on what you want to do, though, with your life. Whatever you want to do.
But I will say, I think we could both agree on this. No matter what you're doing, just make sure you're making your own decisions. Like, if you decide to smoke, make sure you want to smoke because you want to. If you decide not to, make sure you want to do that because you don't want to. Make sure no matter what you're doing, you're making your own decisions and you don't feel pressured into doing something because what is considered to be normal and what other people pressure you into doing. You know, like I think that's essential. Anyway, how do you feel about the term ACAB? You know what that means? All cops are bastards. You ever seen it used?
No.
Yeah, that's more associated with more edgier type of like the edgier genre. ACAB meaning all cops are bastards is a term used by a lot of people because you know, they feel all cops are bastards.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that statement?
I mean, I don't really fuck with cops that much. You feel me? I don't fuck with any type of like real authority. That's not my deal. You feel me? Like any type of like authority on like any other people. But at the same time, I understand when shit is necessary. You feel me?
So you feel like they're necessary, but sometimes the way they do their job is not.
I feel like power fucks with your mind. Like when you get with the badge, like not the gun too, of course, but the badge is just like.
It's a real representation
it's that
of power.
Ticket right there, and it's just like it's easy to like just lose your who you are as a person, or just like who you can be as a person. If you already are that person, if that's why you want to be a cop, to like be like, yeah, I gotta run the streets, and it's just like you want to be a dickhead on the streets. But at the end of the day, not all cops are bastards. But at the same day, it's like not all people who aren't cops are criminals at the same time.
So without trying to get too like too, you know, political and whatnot, like how do you feel like authority can be done? How do you think you can balance out authority to where not only is it easier to be an authority figure, but it's easier for the person listening or following you? How do you think that could be more balanced? That's why I reference parenting. Because parenting and being a cop is kind of similar. Because the cops are responsible for keeping us safe and whatnot. And that's kind of the role of a parent in a sense. So how do you feel like you can balance that out and run authority without being too demanding or too enforcing?
Just don't let your personal, what happened to you in your life, try and go to other people. You know?
So you think you should separate the trauma from the power? The authority from the...
Because I feel like the trauma is what fuels the power trip. Because even if it's not a big deal, like what you went through in your life, it's just like you want to feel like I'm able to do this to you. You know, I'm able to tell you to do this, and then you go and you do that because you don't want to lose your job, or you don't want to look bad in front of these people, or this and that. You know, it's just like why I don't like the whole like barking, like with cops and like. Not necessarily like to say like, oh, I was barked at when I was a kid, but it's just like
that sense of entitlement.
Yeah, you know, just entitlement, just fucked up. Cause it spreads negativity. Cause I feel like every aspect of what we do and what we do in this world, like that moves some part. Like there's always parts shifting in the world. So like that could spread here, it could spread there, wherever. That negativity that you bring out.
I get you. Interesting. All right. I think that's very interesting. Yeah. Like I feel like if you're gonna be put in any kind of authority like position, because at one point or another you're going to be responsible for something. You should definitely. We need to get more people, especially people that look like us. You know, the minority people, the black, the brown, the whatever. We need to learn to heal better. We need to learn to like, you know, heal from our past and whatnot. But anyway, spirituality. I think that's an interesting word. I think a lot of artists and just like that's kind of becoming like a trend now to be spiritual.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, how do you feel about like those people? Like, how do you feel about spiritual beliefs? Do you think spiritualism exists? Do you think that whole realm?
Yeah, of course it exists. I think it's important like for everybody. And this is something that has been around like for many years. Like even back like to like Neanderthals and like fucking like the native Indians and those I think it was Albert Einstein or some like one of those like, you know, the smart guys from that time.
The smart guys.
Oh my bad. It was Socrates from Athens. He was talking about like your soul, and he was one of like the first pivotal people to talk about like, hey, like your soul has something to do with the planet. And we're all here together, and it's just like take care of your soul. And it's just like when you do evil, like that's the shit that harms your soul more than what can physically be done to you or emotionally be done to you because you're soulless, whatever they say. But back then there was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, it was like your soul. I'm trying to get this coin. You feel me? That's it. You know. And some people are still like that today. You know. But I feel like some people even take that spirituality shit and they just like. They turn that into like making their own ego bigger. Yeah. And sometimes I don't even realize that shit.
It kind of becomes like a dictatorship. It's like, hey,
yeah,
don't eat chicken, or you're gonna get fucked up. Like,
don't
you know,
do it.
Like, stop that shit.
Haram.
And
don't do it. Don't do
like,
it, baby.
All types of things, like, kind of
That's it. Just don't do it.
Because there's also you know.
Don't
like,
smoke. Don't do that shit. You know. If you fuck with me, man, you don't look, man. I'll tell you right here, you don't have to smoke when you're around me, but like disrespect. I'm out here, my shoelaces ain't tied. All right, I'm eating all my fucking high fructose corn syrup. You know, I'm doing all that shit. All right. This is water though. You gotta drink your water. Drink your water.
Just expect that, you know, when you're around me. We're all vegan, alright? You know what? Fuck your chicken. You better not
tofu.
Fucking chicken.
Tofu.
Seaweed.
Tofu?
Lettuce?
Oh my god. Seaweed, bro. Oh my god. When I was in elementary, bro, like, no disrespect, of course, but like when like the Asian kids would bust out their seaweed at lunch, I would be like, nah, bro, how you doing this?
How are you doing this?
Nah, bro, you don't want no nuggets? Like, are you sure? Like, I wouldn't say to them, you know, I'm not trying to be a dickhead. I probably did. I was probably a dickhead when I was a kid.
You don't want some nuggets?
Bro, seaweed? I don't know, bro.
That fucking. That's I don't know. I'm gonna run with that quote forever. You don't want some nuggets?
I'm trying to get some nuggets, bro. Yeah.
So, in regards to spiritualism or spirituality, I don't even know if it's a belief. Yeah, ism. Yeah, ism.
I guess it's almost a religion, maybe.
I mean,
but I don't know, cause you're not like going.
I would separate, cause like religion is very.
Form.
Religion, I feel like is very strict. Like
you're
set to like this.
Unless you're Catholic.
Yeah, spirituality, I feel like is more like it's more of like an internal thing. It can be a belief system. Yeah. But it's more like
chakras and all that.
Yeah, like it's all types of things. It can be a belief, but I don't feel like it's very like by a book. It's more of like cleansing and focusing on all types of things. So speaking of that, do you believe there's a higher power?
Oh, that's a tough one for me. I've like in the past couple of months actually, I've kind of come to like the acceptance and I'm a flip-flopper almost with religion, you know, and because I was raised like as like a Catholic, you know, but I never personally felt comfortable in like a church setting, you know, or none of that. I hated fucking church school as a kid. Like get your first communion and all that. I hated that shit, you know. Like it was just like, bro, I'm not trying to do this on a Wednesday. Like, and it's just like I never felt it. You feel me? And even in a church, I would always just be like, yo, I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, it's good for these people, yeah. Like go ahead, believe what you want, but I don't think this is for me. But then there were some times when like I would say maybe like coming like end of middle school, beginning of high school that I almost died and fucking like twice actually, and fucking well, at least I think I almost died, and I was like, nah, bro, God is here and I'm like here for a reason, you know. And I rode with that for like a year, you know. Then I was kind of like, nah, bro, I think like everyone is just like we're all just here, you feel me? So
you talked about I remember when I think it was like back in freshman year, you passed your region, and then like he was like, you know, God was looking out for me that day.
Yeah, God was looking out for me, bro. Cause let me tell you, math. I can't whistle, but if I could, I would have whistled right there. Alright? Oh man.
Yeah, I think it's that whole topic. I think people are gonna debate about that for the rest of eternity. Until we really come to a solid answer on whether there's a higher power or whether there's not. With that being said, you once mentioned to me, like when we were having a conversation, what's it called, like something absolutism or like something like that. Basically, the belief that like nothing matters. What's that called?
I'm not sure if it's absolutism or is that the one that begins with an N that fucking like Rick and Morty is based on. Nothing matters. We're all just here. Then when you die, it just lights out. You know. I'm like that in some ways. I could feel like. But when in those conversations with you, I would say I was especially more in like like probably like a deeper, darker place, and I was more in touch with that part of myself. And I would say in that type of belief system, it's just like you're just here for the ride, and like we're all just here for the ride. And it's just like when you die, that's probably when you figure out what's real and what's fake. You know, if this was all nothing, if it was a simulation, if it mattered, if it was a test, if like Logic said, or I don't know, said, but like, you know, he did it in like his like album and shit, and it was like that you're every person that ever lived. I wouldn't want to do that shit. I don't want to be the...
So no past lives, none of that shit.
I low-key, me, like, more than low-key, I would say I probably do believe in reincarnation. But I don't know if you're like every person that ever lived.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just
I don't
like some...
that.
It's just, maybe you're a handful, maybe you're a large handful, maybe you're 100,000 people, you know, and you all just rotate. I don't know, some shit.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that stuff gets really deep. Like,
I've been thinking more.
No, that's all for you.
I was gonna say like real quick. I've been thinking more because like, you know, at night and like smoking in the yard, it's just like looking like at the moon and shit. I find that shit looking interesting because it's like that's the only planet we could like look at. You feel me? Because like we look at the sun for too long, you know how that shit goes. But it's just like, I don't know, I find that interesting. What you were saying?
I'm more, you know, like me, I'm very much about depth. I'm very much getting into the nitty gritty to seeing what's below the surface. Like, that's why I think the whole spiritualism stuff and like all that type of stuff, all these different beliefs and views on life is so interesting. I think it's very interesting. Like, there's so many different ways you can look at life, but one thing I can say for certain, like as me personally, I definitely feel like there's a higher power. And I definitely feel like spirituality is like, I wouldn't say science, there's accuracy to science, but I don't think science is the end all be all. I don't think, like, there's so much that we're limited to, it would be impossible. And there's so much unknown despite how long we've been here in this world present. So that's how I look at it personally.
I feel like science is for a select few, bro. That ain't for me.
It's not for you?
Yeah.
It's not really for me either.
Because in the sense of like, one, just understanding it, you know? Like, there's a lot of shit, like, even the basic shit, that I'm just like, yeah, this ain't for me, boss. I'm gonna go, like, fucking, like, do some graffiti, you know? Like, and it's just like, alright, you go do your lab stuff, bro, like, but hey, maybe that Big Bang Theory, all that shit, maybe that's what happened, bro, and we're just sacks of meat and bones, and then we rot and decay.
But then, like, it's just like the little things, like the fact that we're able to feel, that we're able to develop different like personas, and like we have so much depth to us as humans compared to other animals. Cause think about animals, they just fuck, you know. That's what they live for: eat, drink, sleep, fuck, make babies. You know, we don't really, we have standards. You know, like we have standards. It's like you look at monkeys. Nah, I'm trying to fuck. But us, it's like, hold on there.
I stick to my human.
Just to clarify, I was talking from the perspective of a monkey. Yeah, animal.
I'm so warm right now. I'm so warm. That was random. I'm sorry. I'm so warm.
Animals are just like they just live to reproduce and eat and stuff. We live the same way, but we have more purposes. All right, so you know, shout out to Instagram. Let's hear what's your Instagram.
Instagram is c._.smiles. With a Z, you know, smiles with a Z at the end there. See that little face there? Hit me up, maybe.
Maybe, depends on how you look, right?
I'm a poor soul. I know I'm ugly and all that shit. Actually, cut that shit. I don't want that shit. Fuck that shit. You guys do not deserve me. I'm gonna redo that shit. Hold up. It is c._.smiles. Smiles with a Z at the end. You know, there. And then you got the link to the SoundCloud there. You know, be c.smiles. Don't forget the Z at the end.
Oh man, it's good having you on this
show, bro.
Appreciate you, brother. It's always a pleasure to have you. Probably have you back here one of these days, you know?
Maybe. Catch me in my yard. Maybe.
Yeah. Alright, man. So, as always, this has been Awakened Mind. Be sure that you like, comment, subscribe.
It's here. It's everywhere.
Here. It's everywhere.
You're gonna see it. I know you're gonna see it. Click like.
And share this video around if you found it to be,
Do me a solid. Laugh at me. I don't give a fuck. What is peace? A dangerous luxury. A comfort whose price is less. Raise the bliss at the garden. The cats will hiss regardless. Click the magic rings. Be gone the shipwreck. Sweet talks his way to passing through current. He still walks on lines. Be wary of the relentless binds. Warrants are being spread. They're calling for a head. Whose will it be? Anybody's will satisfy. The shape of haze breathes face to its knees. The blur shuns away the despair. Tell me when you scream from rooftops who will be there. Hand in the face, puzzle show recluse. What have you done? The bandits on the loose.